It's 6:30. Councillors and residents, the Mayor has requested that I chair the meeting this evening. Under the Code of Meeting Practice, Section 6, the Chairperson, Part 6.1, the Mayor or the request of, in the absence of the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor proceeds at the meeting of the Council. The time being 6:30, I declare the Ordinary Council meeting of 23rd April 2024 open. Persons in the gallery are advised that under the Local Government Act 1993, a person may not tape record the proceedings of a meeting of a council or committee without the authority of the council or committee. Tape record includes a video camera and an electronic device capable of recording speech. Mobile phones must be turned off so as not to distract the meeting. Anyone, including councillors, found using a mobile phone will be told to leave the meeting immediately and for the duration of the said meeting. An audio recording of this meeting will be taken for minute-taking purposes, as authorized by the Local Government Act 1993. This meeting is live streamed, so on Council's website to allow the community to follow Council debates and discussions without the need to attend the meeting in person. Members of the public attending or speaking at the meeting agree to have their image, voice, and personal information, including name and address, recorded and publicly broadcasted. Strathfield Council does not accept liability for any defamative remarks or inappropriate comments that are made under the course of a meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be streamed. Councillors and members of the gallery, please note that the microphones for streaming purpose is sensitive and will record all sounds in the room. The mayoral diary for April 2024 and expenses claimed by all councillors has been tabled for your information as per Resolution 147/19. Councillors, in accordance with the mandatory provision of the Model Code of Conduct, I remind councillors of the obligation to which you sworn by taking the oath of affirmation in that you will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities, and discretions vested under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of your ability and judgment. Moment of reflection. Can I request everybody to stand for prayer, please? Pray that our deliberations today will be objective and decisions are impartial and made for the benefit of the whole community. Recognition of traditional custodians. Let us begin by acknowledging the Wongal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting is being held. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Thank you. Apologies and leave of absence. Our general manager has received a leave of absence request from the mayor, Karen Pennsylvania. Her request is to enable for her to have a leave of absence for council meetings up until July 2024 due to her personal health issues. In line with council's code of meeting practice, we are requested at this meeting to consider the request for our mayor, Karen Pennsylvania. I therefore move that council approves a leave of absence for Mayor Karen Pennsylvania for council meetings up to July 2024 due to her personal health issues. Can I have a seconder on this? Nella? Sorry, give it raise first. Councillors, can we vote on it, please? Carried out, unanimous. Are there any other apologies? Disclosure of interest. Councillors, please ensure to stand and read the script that has been left for you at your desk. Remembering that we need to ensure that all conflicts are clearly defined for the video recording as follows. State the type of interest, for example, pecuniary, non-pecuniary significant or non-pecuniary non-significant. The item number and description. The nature or a clear description of what your interest or relationship is. The action you intend to take per the option outlined on your script. I would be asking councillors one by one. Councillor Datta, do you have any conflict of interest? Do you have any disclosures to? Councillor Maheshwaran?
In respect of item 10.4, the non-pecuniary non-significant conflict of interest, I had 2 meetings with the details of which were disclosed in the summary of the previous council meeting. I have no interest in the planning proposal of property, and the motion does not confer any substantive benefit on any person. That's the reason my non-pecuniary interest is not significant. As a result, as my interest is non-pecuniary and non-significant, I will remain in the chamber when the item is being discussed.
Councillor Chai?
I don't think I have any.
Councillor Hall?
I'm going to declare on the item number 10.4 and the description. Do we have to read the whole thing out? It's a long thing you put in here. Special conflict of interest disclosure regarding 11 to 16 Loftus Crescent, 2 Subway Lane, 5 and 9, 11 Knight Street, and 88 to 92 Parramatta Road, Homebush. Councillor Sharangan Maswara. My nature of interest is the person, my family, leases a property on Parramatta Road, Homebush. The action that I intend to take is, as my interest is non-pecuniary but significant, I cannot remove the source of the conflict. I will leave the chamber when the item is being discussed.
Thank you, Councillor. Now we'll move on to the acknowledgements. I have 2 acknowledgements, and I'll pass it on to you guys. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge PAT, Swaminarayan Mandir, Sydney. They celebrated Sri Swaminarayan Jayanti and Sri Ram Jayanti on 14th of April 2024. They conveyed the morals and spiritual leadership of Sri Swaminarayan Bhagwan and Sri Swami and Sri Ram Bhagwan. During their lifetime has been continued to impact on our community and its people. And the second acknowledgement is for the Assamese Association. They have celebrated their new year, Rangali Bihu, which was celebrated by Assamese Association of Australia, New South Wales and ACET. The event was a celebration of diversity and creativity in Australia. Special appreciation to the President of the Association, Ms. Sushmita Bahu, for organizing such a beautiful and meaningful event. Is there any other acknowledgements, councillors? Councillor Datta.
Madam Mayor, I have 2 acknowledgements to make. One is the acknowledgement of the same event that you have made for the celebration of Ram Navami by BAPS Swaminarayan Temple, and also celebration of the birth anniversary of Swami Narayan Bhagavan. I think the impact that that I saw from that event is it was attended by over 10,000 people, and it was celebrating the Ram Rajya, which is the kingdom that was established by Lord Rama in the Treta Yuga. And the specialty about this celebration is about that Ram Rajya, or the reign of Lord Rama, is considered to be the benchmarking of Indian politics. So that was a good celebration, and it talked about the fundamental values of Lord Rama he followed, and it was fully aligned with the basic values of Australian multiculturalism. And I'm very proud to say that the Swaminarayan Temple, through their practices and celebrations, are putting their best efforts to develop good characters and prepare our citizens to be the ideal citizens of this country. The second acknowledgement I would make is about attended an event a big event presented by a Kalankan dance company. It was about the life of Draupadi. Many of you from Indian subcontinental heritage would know. It was about a reflection of the pains and the gains of throughout the life of the royal lady Draupadi. And there are many things to learn. Many of those things are even relevant today. So it is again was very much aligned with what we are seeing today, respect for women, which has been a traditional values of the people of Indian subcontinent. The play really reflected how we should be treating our women, who are equal citizens, or 50% of our citizens are women. So that was again another character building exercise, a beautiful performance. Thank you.
Are there any more acknowledgements? Councillor Maheshwaran.
Thank you. I'm acknowledging the letter I've received from the Office of Local Government on the 14th of February 2024. That letter, and I'm reading extracted part of it, says that they are examining concerns whether you have breached Part 9 of the Code of Meeting Conduct by submitting as a matter of urgency a notice of motion to the Extraordinary Council meeting held 9 May 2023 pursuant to Section 40 of the Local Government Act. That was demanded a response from me within 14 days, irrespective of whether I was to obtain legal advice or not. I replied to the Office of Local Government on the 28th of that month. Within their timetable, I received no acknowledgement or reply. I wrote to them again on the 3rd of April 2024 and received no acknowledgement or reply. I wrote to them again on the 8th of April 2024 and received no acknowledgement or reply. All those letters set out why their position that they've put to me is incorrect at law. Now, on the 22nd of April, I attempted to call the designated number on the LG's correspondence, and it appears to me that there was no response. It appeared to me that the number is disconnected. I understand that the LG's letter concerns my conduct in the council meeting, and particularly bringing a motion on the 9th of May. I thought if I make this acknowledgement in the council chamber, perhaps they'd see it, know I've written back to them, and they'd take the time to do the courtesy of at least saying they've received my correspondences in reply, since they've asked for one on an urgent basis from me.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Chai? Do you have any? No? Councillor Hall? Can we do the confirmation of minutes of Ordinary Council Meeting 26 March 2024? I need a mover, and moved by Councillor Hall, seconded by Councillor Datta. Can we all vote on it? Unanimous, carried. Mayoral minutes. Councillors, you will note that we have 2 mayoral minutes on the business paper this evening. I trust that councillors have read the details of each. Councillors, I will now move to vote on the item 7.1, mayoral minute, the Bondi Junction tragedy on 13th of April 2024. I move it. Can I have a seconder on it? Councillor Datta. Can we all vote on it? Councillors, as we have voted for the item, I would now like to call for everyone to stand so we may take a minute of silence to honor those who have lost their lives in Bondi Junction tragedy and share our well wishes to their families and provide recognition to those who assisted during the emergency incident. Thank you. Councillors, I will now move to vote on item 7.2, the mayoral minute, 0324, local government amendment, tendering regulation number 2, 2023. I move it. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Datta seconded. I'll read. Do you want me to read the motion, councillors?
No.
Do you want?
No.
Let's vote for it, councillors. Carried forward, unanimous. Items by exception. In accordance with section 13 of the Council Code of Meeting Practice, items can be dealt with by exception and they can be adopted as recommended by a single motion. Councillors, I am now going to read out each item and suggest those which may be by exception. Should you not agree, please indicate at the time of my reading the item out. Notice of motion 10.1, Multicultural and Diversity Committee. New member?
Yeah.
Yep. 10.2,
Yeah.
request for, you want to keep it or you want to move it?
No,
Councillor? Keep it?
You can go. It can go.
Keep it on the, yeah,
Exception. Go.
by exception. 10.3, notice of recession.
Yep.
10.4, I'm not going to include because some of the councillors have conflict of interest. 10.5. Okay. GMU 1.
Yep.
Keep it. GMU 2, draft sponsorship policy.
Yep.
CCS 1.
No.
Out.
Out.
CCS 2.
Yes.
Keep it or out. Councillor Datta.
Exception.
By exception.
Yep.
Thank you.
Out.
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 CCS 2. Out. Well, they want
Okay.
One will be alternate.
CCS 3, draft delivery program 2022 and 2026.
Out.
Out. CCS 4,
Yep.
keep it
Yeah. Exception.
by exception. CCS 5, tender advertised and awarded, keep it.
Exception.
CCS 6, Current status of council resolution?
Out.
Out? No. CCS 7, out? CCS 8. Councillors, please note that
Exception.
by exception, okay. CCS 9,
Exception.
National General Assembly,
Exception.
okay. CCS 10,
Exception.
Symphony Jubilate.
Exception.
CCS 11, Investment Report.
Yes, exception.
CCS 12, Councillor Workshop, 8th April.
Exception.
CCS 13, Workshop, 9 April.
Exception.
CCS 14, Council Workshop, 15th April.
Exception.
EOI 1, Draft Hire. EO 2,
Yes, exception.
please, we'll go to reports. 12.1,
Exception.
report and traffic. Okay. EO 2. Hey. Hold on. Can I have a mover and seconder for these items to be dealt with by exception? Moved by Councillor Hall and seconded by Councillor Datta.
That's okay.
Moved by Councillor Chai and seconded by Councillor Datta. Councillors, can we vote on it? Unanimous, carried out. We have 6 speakers registered today to address the meeting. Speakers are reminded that they have 3 minutes to address Council on their item of interest with a possible 2 minutes extension if approved by the meeting. Speakers are advised that in accordance with the Code of Meeting Practice, they cannot ask questions of councillors or staff. A councillor through the chair may ask question of the speaker as long as it is direct. Can I ask the first speaker, Mr. Jared Albert Riley? Would request to speak in an open forum about Palestine. Would Mr. Riley please come forward to address the meeting? In his absence, I would move on to the next speaker. Mr. Tony Batos has requested to speak in open forum about DA 2024/32. Would Mr. Batos please come forward to address the meeting?
Prefer you speak first, is that right? Yeah, you mind if he goes first? I just want to second his comments. I would like to submit a letter, whatever I have to say.
So you're Mr. Tony?
That's right, yes.
So sorry, what was his name?
Tony Bakos.
No.
Shrink.
My name is Srinivas.
Yeah, so then we'll swap with Mr. Srinivas being the first speaker. Mr. Srinivas, please come forward and address.
Oh, stand here.
There used to be a microphone there.
Hello, everybody. Please permit me to speak about the DA raised by the residents of 10 Augusta Street to build a multi-storied house at their property. Our house is 89 Mintaro Avenue, right behind the house, and we share a common boundary. We have some serious concerns of safety and dangers to life resulting from an existing tree rooted in their property, but its branches clearly overhang our property. The tree in question is number 3 as per the arborist report in the DA attached. The picture clearly shows how the tree is growing over our property. We had many branches fallen into our backyard, and recently one fell right over our roof. And we have been trying to bring this to the attention of residents of 10 Augusta Street from time to time. However, there has been no answer. And we have also brought this attention to the past mayor, Mr. Blackmore, and a few councillors, including Mr. Raddatha. In 2021, we offered to have the overhanging branches trimmed at our own expense and filled in an application to the council. The form had to be signed by the owner of 10 Augusta Street, being the owner of the tree too. The couple were non-cooperative to the extent of not supporting our application. That also has been enclosed. Then we approached the Community Justice Center, who later held a mediation session on August 10th, 2023. There, Mrs. Mimi Law agreed to address this question as a part of their DA. Agreement is attached. We were surprised when we inspected the arborist report in the DA. There is no mention of trimming the branches of tree 3, just 1 minute. Instead, the recommendation is to retain and protect the tree.
Would you like some extension of your time?
No, yes, 1 more minute.
2 minutes, please. Thank you.
It clearly indicates that our request has been ignored. The branches of the tree growing over our property pose a threat to the safety of our lives and to the property. Whenever there is a windy day, myself and my wife, both seniors and pensioners, aged 77 and 75, have to spend sleepless nights on account of this. We appeal to the council to safeguard our interests and lives by directing the owners of 10 Augusta Street to trim the overhanging branches of tree number 3. We cannot support this DA till that is assured. Thank you. Now, open to questions.
If I may have a question, Srinivas, my question is that how have you spoken with your neighbor, tried to?
It is difficult. They don't speak to us. I had to speak through the Community Justice Center, and every time I have to tell them something, I have to put something in their mailbox, they don't reply. And I tried to go to them and try to speak, but they were not cooperative. Only when the Community Justice Center summoned them to be present for a telephone meeting, they came in. And now I have received an email recently that she is sorry for a branch falling on our tree, on our roof, and nothing more.
So, given the situation you are in, how do you feel and your wife feel about the environment or the situation you are in? What are the
No, we are happy with the other neighbors, but it's the tree that bothers us, and my wife can vouch for this. And how many times we have to clean the gutter, how many times we have to clean the backyard. We have been doing it every now and then. And then, now the next danger is the branches have started falling on our roof now.
So are you saying that you are worried about your?
We are worried. We have been living in that property for more than 20 years now, and we are really worried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so my friend Tony Backhouse, who lives adjacent to number 10 Augusta Street, namely 8 Augusta Street, he has very similar concerns, and I will let him speak now.
I'd just like to second Shrin's comments. I've got exactly the same problem. Been living in the same property for 30 years. I've approached the neighbours with an numerous amount of time to address that issue. Hasn't been done, so I've got nothing more to add. I think you just, rather than take up council's time and that, but yeah, exact same problem we have.
Would you clarify, is it the same tree we are talking about?
No, there's two trees. I'm making a comment about, actually, it is the same tree, and tree as outlined in the DA number 2, which is very close to my boundary. I've got the same issue where, you know, it's overhanging over my backyard, over my roof. It's causing water leaks into my house through the skylights. Also, I'm worried about the roots damaging my stormwater, which is a pump-out system, and I've already had to repair it once because the roots are actually spreading into my property. Yeah, so they are enormous. They're scary, and especially on windy days, rainy days, where you know, you wouldn't want to. I am afraid for my safety a lot of times. It's and my family, because I'm especially with the storms and the weather we've been having lately, they're out of character, and I'm worried one day it might actually fall onto the house. Yeah, so, and we don't get any sunlight in the backyard. It's overshadowing. It's, you know, so it's causing all sorts of issues. There's 2 trees, huge trees in the backyard, number 2 and number 3.
Just to be clear, so both the trees are in one property?
That's
the
correct.
Same property?
Yeah. Actually, the whole backyard's full of trees. It's got quite a number, if you've seen your plans. I have submitted my letter and my concerns to the council already. Yeah, and also there's a terrace, which is in regards to the DA, the building, the new house that's getting built. My concern is also privacy. They're overlooking directly into my backyard, my pool, where we spend a lot of time with my family and entertain, you know, my family and my grandkids and members of the family and all that. So it's quite concerning that, but the main concern is the trees. They have been a problem for a long, long time. And if anything, they're just overgrown. They're grown every year. They haven't been trimmed once, even. But that's all I've got to say.
If I can ask you, what are the, like your neighbors said something, what are the topmost 3 or 4 concerns that you have regarding having the tree the way it is?
Sorry, can you repeat
What
that?
are the most pressing 3 or 4 concerns that you have?
Number two tree is very concerning because, as I said, it's very close to my house. It's only, you measure up, it's probably about 3 or 4 metres, not even. And the branches are overhanging my roof and their roof as well. I don't know how they're going to build a house there with those. They're massive to be, you know. Yeah, so the only solution I think, if that can be, you know, pulled out or cut down, or cut, you know, destroyed basically. You know.
Thank you.
No problem. Sorry.
Mr. Sitambalam Shivaganasundaram has requested to speak in open forum about 30 The Causeway, Strathfield.
Honourable Mayor and councillors and the staff of the Strathfield Council and the residents, I'm happy to make representation with regard to the pruning of a tree, jacaranda tree. My wife and I are the joint owners of number 30, the Causeway, South Strathfield, and reside there. We have been residing there for over 20 years. There is a jacaranda tree on the fence line, but predominantly within our immediate neighbour at 28, the Causeway, South Strathfield. Since July 2019, we have not been able to obtain consent/agreement with the owners of 28 the Causeway to prune overhanging branches from the above trees. Remembering the fact that for the past 20 years on several occasions we have pruned and they have not objected and they have been continuing to prune This is not a preserved tree, and even prior to our moving into that premises, the branches have been pruned. We have made several attempts to convince them to sign the application form. The then council staff did not accept. They have not signed the form. They take the form and they say they will consult with their lawyer or who it is, and then after a week when I go and ask them, they say they return the form. There is no valid reason given. The then council staff did not accept my application form without the signature of the owner and have refused to inspect the site and grant approval. We built our house more than 20 years ago and have been living at the premises and regularly pruning the small branches overhanging onto our property. The current neighbors purchased the property about 12 years ago, and our relationship was cordial until May 2019. We have made several attempts to persuade them to sign the application form without success. They have been mean, stubborn, and obstinate in their attitude to this matter, which is causing grave concern to us. I wish to emphasize that despite all of the above, they continue to prune branches overhanging onto their property from trees on my property. I obtained an arborist report from plum trees to satisfy their and council requirements. Even with this, they have not agreed to sign the application form. Separately, I also inquired from the council whether they would undertake this work for a fee, which the council declined. The progress on this matter got further delayed due to COVID shutdown and serious ill health to my wife. She has now undergone surgery and is recovering slowly. With all these delays, the situation has become dire, and I humbly request, just give me a minute.
Another 2 minutes?
Yeah, thank you. Without the consent of my obstinate neighbor, the branches are in contact with my roof tiles as well as my gutter and doing immense damage to them, thereby reducing its life. Furthermore, the regrown water chutes are not well attached to the tree and are likely to fall on my roof in case of a storm. Additionally, they are swinging violently during heavy winds and making noise, thus disturbing our sleep at night. Note that some of the branches are just above our bedroom. It is also a safety hazard as they can fall during a storm and damage the roof as well as cause injuries to self and wife. There are also branches above our visitors' room and which would cause similar damage and injuries. See photos attached. I kindly request the council to inspect the site and grant approval for the pruning of the trees. I kindly request again the general manager and the councillors to use their discretion in this matter because the reason to get the approval and agreement of the owner of the tree is a onerous task at this stage. I have not had this problem for the last 20 years. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, please? Did you say that there is a tree on your side and the branches falling on their side, they are pruning those branches?
Yes, you can come, and that's why I want somebody to come and see it.
But to the contrary, the tree on their side with the branches hanging on your side, they are not allowing you to prune the tree.
True, correct.
So that's and the other thing, what are the major difficulties and concerns? Can you tell us again, what are the major difficulties and concerns that you have regarding the tree?
The major concern that I have is that those branches are going to fall on our roof. It is just only a matter of time. And then at that stage, even if I go to the insurance people, they're going to say, you have not been diligent in pruning the trees. I can't tell them then the council did not come and inspect because I cannot. We have been pruning with a good relationship. We have been pruning the branches without coming to the council, without going anywhere. And he is now continuing to prune his trees. His roof is safe. His gutters are clean.
And did you say that you are concerned about your safety and security?
Yes. If the branches fall on the roof, we are sleeping in the bedroom. You can see that in that photograph.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why you will get a better picture if you come to site and have a look at it. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Alice Abraham has requested to speak in open forum about DA 2024/26.
Respected Chair, Councillors and fellow residents in Strathfield, my name is Alice Abraham and I live with my parents at 71 The Boulevard, Strathfield, and I have lived my whole life here. We would like to put on record our strong objection to the DA 2024/26, which relates to building an extension to a local heritage listed home at 67 to 69 The Boulevard, Strathfield. The new owners have proposed to operate a childcare business at this address. Our objections and concerns are as follows. One being safety. We are concerned with the safety of the school children who attend the 3 private schools on the boulevard, as many of them are young and unsupervised when crossing driveways and roads during drop-off and pick-up times. Directly in front of the proposed development is a pedestrian crossing signal and has numerous groups of children waiting and using the crossing in the mornings and afternoons. The driveway and pile-up of cars entering and exiting the property will cause further risk to that area and these children during peak times. Second concern would be traffic. The traffic report submitted to Council has some serious shortcomings. The report does not specify to which standard it is being performed to and does not reference compliance against any Australian standards. The report has some serious shortcomings in methodology, one being a tube test was conducted during a low traffic volume period, which is the first week of the semester, and was undertaken for only 1 week. The traffic report considered one intersection only, Carrington Avenue, despite its own assessment that two-way movement would be generated by the development, despite only being accessible via a left-hand turn. The gist of the traffic report is we don't comply but close enough, and that is completely unacceptable. The findings of the report state that the development will not have significant impact to queue times. However, it fails to mention in its summary that queue times are already at the worst rates they can be according to the Transport for New South Wales rating system in the west direction. The traffic report states that the number of car park spaces falls short of the Strathfield Council Development Control Plan 2005. The traffic report details the use of a highly unusual mechanical device being a car lift and a mechanical stacker. No attempt has been made to investigate this equipment, and the report states that compliance against relevant Australian standards will be pre-construction certification. This is particularly concerning. The next point is on demand. Our neighbourhood is already well served by multiple childcare facilities with 8 centres located within a mere 4-minute drive from the said location. Given this ample supply and the fact that more than half of these centres operate below full capacity,
would you like to have a 2 minutes extension?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Given this ample supply and the fact that more than half of these centres operate below full capacity, it is clear that there is no pressing need for an additional childcare facility on this very busy road. Recent census data from 2016 and 2021 reveals a downward trend in the percentage of children aged 0 to 4 years in our Strathfield postcode, dropping from 4.4% to 3.2%. This decline contradicts any argument for the necessity of a new childcare centre and underscores the lack of demand for such a facility in our area. Final point being noise. The potential for unacceptable noise pollution from this commercial establishment is alarming. The proximity of the double driveway to our bedroom window means that the noise and pollution from the exhaust of multiple cars entering and exiting the premises would be unbearable and pose a significant health hazard to us as immediate neighbours. The proposed addition of a car lift and the servicing of vehicles, including garbage collection trucks, would only exacerbate this issue, disrupting the peace and tranquility of our residential neighbourhood. So that summarises a few points that concern us as residents and citizens with a keen interest in maintaining safety, tranquility and the integrity of Strathfield. Thank you for your time.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Through the chair. Has this submission been submitted to council? Have you submitted this to council?
Yes, we have.
Okay. And then through the chair to the general manager.
Councillor Hall, the code of meeting practice doesn't allow us to.
just said
put
the
questions to the councillors or to the staff?
through the chair we can. I thought we could. Oh, I just wanted a date of the
to ask.
closing of do you know the closing of the date that the submissions close?
The 17th
Of April.
of April.
Okay, good. That's all I wanted to know.
I have a few questions if I can ask. Did you say in your statement, as you were reading it, that the traffic study that has been used to support the childcare center was conducted at a point when the traffic was at its lowest? Is that correct?
It was the first week back at school, which is, and do a 1 week duration, so not a high peak time.
Not a high peak time, it doesn't represent the normal
Yeah.
traffic. So the study was not really well considered for its timing. And did you say at one point that the traffic flow from some of the statistics that you have mentioned, that it is already in that vicinity, the traffic flow is already at its lowest position?
It's in the traffic study. That is also acknowledged in the traffic study, that it's
Does that-
already at the lowest rating.
Okay.
I have another question. Are there any submissions that residents have made that want to make, that anybody that hasn't made a submission that would like to make a submission? Was there anybody that didn't get notification of the DA that would like to make a submission that hasn't? Do you know of any?
Possibly, I can't say for sure. Just talk with neighbours, yes, but I don't know if they're actually going to do that.
Just want to maybe contact one of the councillors if you need anything.
Yeah, thank you.
And did you say that there are other childcare facilities in the vicinity around the area?
Yeah, so the final page in the appendix, it lists the 8 closest ones, and there are 8 within a 4-minute drive.
8.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephen Mintaro has requested to speak in open forum about DA 2024/26.
I'll be following on from what Alice has raised in terms of this particular development, and I wanted to just bring home some points that perhaps weren't fully addressed but have been submitted by the neighbours. So if I just cover off some points, I'm representing my parents who live at 73 the Boulevard, of which I was raised and still live in Strathfield, but not at that address. We moved into that property in Easter of 1979, and we've been there for 45 years. I'd like to say that parents have always been members of the local community, spent a lot of time here, and we've been schooled in the area as well. I've raised my children, who are now adults, in this area, and we went to school there as well. So we've got a deep connection to Strathfield. With options that I married somebody outside of Strathfield, she could have taken me elsewhere. We decided to stay. I was provided with a copy of a report that's been already lodged, prepared by Rod Logan, who's a very well known and respected gentleman who provided an assessment of the development application for Alice's parents that live on the adjoining property to the development. What Rod did point out was the subject site is unsuitable for a development of this nature, and the proposed intensity, and the council has requested to clearly refuse the application at this point. And really what I'm going to say now in the remaining 1.5 minutes is I absolutely agree. And there's 4 key reasons. One is heritage. That property is 101 years old and it's very unique in its style. It's only 1 kilometre from these council chambers, and I'd suggest that you look at it because you won't see another property in Strathfield like it. I went to the 2022 auction and I was very happy to see that the property was bought. And I saw the commencement of renovations and thought, that's fantastic, soon we'll see a family settling into that home. So you can imagine the surprise and the shock when I heard, through my parents, that a 80-child childcare centre was going to be established where a stately home once resided and was filled with people that lived in a home, family members. One of the other things I want to say about Rod's report is there is 13 points of non-compliance with requirements for this development application. They cover boundary setbacks of 50% the size they should be. We've got exceeding maximum floor space ratio of 87 square metres, which is equivalent to a 2-bedroom unit. So they're exceeding that. The noise impacts that have been mentioned. There's a deficiency in the parking requirements. The traffic assessment pays little regard to safety of pedestrians, which I want to cover off briefly. There's no mechanism to control the traffic movements, which has been mentioned. The detailed site investigation of benzene and lead residue issues have not been fully conducted. And it goes on and it goes on. There's 13 clear points in his report. On the matter of childcare facilities, I'd like to expand on that. There's actually, I have another 2 minutes. There's actually 35 childcare centres that range from Burwood through to Flemington. These are very close in proximity. And out of those, 24 have availability for children at this point in time, which is 68% of the available facilities have availability. Yet we see to have a need to put another place in a residential location for another 80 children, which I'm gobsmacked. I want to get to pedestrian safety because it wasn't really covered off. At the moment, there is actually 3 homes that have driveways that cross the footpaths at that location between 73 and the proposed development. There's about 6 to 10 car movements across the footpath that they share with pedestrians on a daily basis. There will be 80 children at maximum capacity there, and so there will be 160 morning movements of parents or carers across the footpath every single morning to drop 80 children off and then to return to the street to move away. And they'll do it again in the afternoon and the evening. That's 320 movements of cars across pedestrian walkways, which is 32 times the current movement of vehicles, of cars, with the 3 homes that sit on those properties. I just don't know that if anyone really understands that it's not just the traffic that's jammed on the boulevard and up Strathfield Avenue and up Carrington Avenue that exists today, it's the crossing of those footpaths where there's a lot of students and other pedestrians. So I would really just say that I agree with Rod and everyone else. There's so many things wrong with this development application. It should be rejected by council, and I thank you for your time.
Can I ask some questions?
You go first.
The submissions have closed on 17th, which is only 4 days. No, what day is it today? 23rd. All right, so it's been a week, so to speak. Are residents aware, and your parents aware of the process? Are you aware of the process?
Absolutely.
So,
We are aware of the process. We are aware of at least one person that was unwilling to make a public appearance with the cameras on to speak here at council for fear of being known to the developer and others that are involved in the process of their own views that they don't wish the development to proceed. And we do know that most people in Australia are Australians and they have no interest in speaking up.
So, what I'm getting at is many, many years ago now, I think it was way before 2017, the state government introduced a planning panel, a local state planning panel. Used to be SLPP.
Independent Planning Panel.
So they are the ones that make most of the decisions. Now, I don't know whether this goes there. I don't know that. I have asked for a sort of an update on the process of it, but if it goes there, that's where you make your submissions. So I'm not sure whether you're aware. Councillors actually don't make the decisions on these planning on these development applications. While we're very happy for you guys to come and voice your opinion and make it known publicly, and that's what this is for. The open forum is, we are very proud of our open forum, that you're entitled to come and voice your opinion, and many councils actually don't have this process of open forum, so we're very proud of it here at Strathfield Council. The staff and the councillors were very happy to have this happen, the open forum, so we're very proud of it. But unfortunately, when it comes to development applications, councillors don't vote. We don't have a vote. So I just want to make sure that everybody's entitled to their say, everybody's entitled to vote, to have their say and know the process. So it's only been a week since the development applications the submissions have closed. So maybe be in touch with council on what the next step is, because we don't know what the next step is. I don't know. I'm not in the planning department. We don't get involved in that at all. And so I just want to make sure that you know the process and that you do what you have to do with the process.
Well, unfortunately, if you don't know the process, there's no chance that I'll know the process.
That's why you need to make your application. You need to. So, because I don't know, it depends on whether I have requested for an update. I haven't received an update yet. I requested it, and I think they were waiting for the submission date to finish, which was only the 17th. So there's a lot of happening in that department, as you can imagine. It's a very busy department. But as soon as because I don't know whether this kind of development goes to the planning panel or whether it's dealt internal. So there are ticks and cross checks and things that they have to do depending. So I have asked for an update on that, and maybe that's what one person out of your group, the residents can do to find out what is it going to the SLPP, which is what we used to be called, or is it what's happening next, and that's where your presentation would be well received, I'm sure. But we love hearing you.
There's ability to present. I'll say the same again.
Thank you, Councillor, through the Mayor, if I can ask. I think I agree with what Councillor Hall said, that council panel, and some people asked me before, and I stated to them the same thing, that regardless of whether you speak in the council, you all need to lodge your complaint through the website by the stated date, which you have done, I understand.
Yes.
So you have ticked the first box. Second, also people who contacted me, I have explained very clearly to all of them that council at this point in time, for some years now, do not make any decision. But what the council can do, and Councillor Hall will agree, that we can register, listen, and we can also express our view to the officers and to the panel, that this is based on the presentations, this is what we think, our view, and I am as a citizen, being a councillor, as a citizen I can make a presentation, all of us can. So that's probably, and I understand from some of the people that that's what you wanted to know. You have lodged your complaint through the proper channel. You are here to express your views to the elected officials, and they will in turn may choose to take their office to express their views to the independent panel or wherever it is, and it may have, or whatever that can lead to. So I think that is the process, everyone is clear. But the question that I wanted to ask, that is in respect to Councillor Hall's question. The question I wanted to ask you is this, that you said that if there are 80 children coming there will be at least 80 cars coming to drop and pick the kids. And the Carrington Street probably is the only street there where people can park. Is there enough space for 80 cars to park there?
No. So Stratfield Avenue is also jam-packed. So when my daughter went to Santa Sabina, I experienced it firsthand. It is gridlock, and Carrington Avenue particularly is one to avoid. There's a hell of a lot of cars on Jersey Road and Stratfield Avenue and up and down the boulevard. Add another 80 cars during the similar sort of time frame, plus all the regular traffic that you get through peak hour. It just defies any logic that we should support something like that.
Yeah, the reason I asked that question is, I know that in the intersection of Landhill Avenue and Kingsland Road, there are certain schools. And around 3:30 on several occasions, I've tried to cross that street. It has taken me 30 to 45 minutes to cross that.
Yes.
And I think you said that there are 2 schools around this area as well.
Yes.
So I can imagine what or relate to what you are saying.
Yes.
And Aruk, did you say that you are also concerned that it could be very dangerous for pedestrians if they are parking in Jersey Street and crossing the street
Well,
with the children and all that.
Well, they'll be driving into that property to drop off little ones and back over the same pedestrian access points. And the plan is to double the size of the driveway. So this is, you know, you'll be able to get semi-trailers into that space. So honestly, the backwards and forwards over the place where you and I walk up and down the footpath is the greatest risk point for students and other pedestrians during those peak hour times.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for your
Stephen,
time.
for bringing your concerns. Councillors, now we move
No, I'm
on
supporting
to,
this, like, which turns out isn't in the council power.
now we move on to the item 10.4.
Sorry, Madam Chair, before we proceed, would you entertain a motion to suspend standing orders and deal with an urgent motion? And the only reason is because it relates to what Mr. Sivagunasundara and Mr. Bakos and Mr. Srinivas just brought to us.
Let me take some advice on that, Councillor.
Mediation for tree disputes. I was going to do it in the next council meeting, but might as well try to do it now so they can actually. Council report, to sign a process, I was going to do it next meeting. Now, at least they.
Question, my question was going to be is, what can council do to intervene? What can council do to intervene?
The arborist report first and then mediate based on the arborist report, so the way around.
And then once
Councillor Sharon, to do that, we need to do a procedural motion to bring the urgent motion forward.
That's what I've been putting right now.
You really want to do everybody's gone.
At least they can walk away with something.
yeah. To the mayor or the chair.
Why is it urgent? Because we could deal it. Do you think it's urgent that we need to move it forward? Would it make a difference in 10 minutes, like half an hour?
Mr. Sivagunasundaram and Mr. Bakos and Mr. Srinivas are still here. You know, we've had a lot of residents leave without getting much from the councillors.
One second.
It's right then.
See you downstairs.
I was going to do it with an email.
You need to explain in 1 or 2 sentences why this is a matter of urgency, just in 2 sentences.
Madam Chair.
Not more than 2.
Sure. In 2 sentences, what I propose, and I was intending to bring this at the next council meeting, is the council report on a mediation process around these kind of tree disputes. We've had 3 residents come here today that have spoken to us about it, and I feel like the residents would expect the councillors to act on something promptly. And so I think it goes to the reputation of council that we should have at least some of our residents leaving here with the sense that council's done something about their issues that they've brought in public forum.
I don't see it urgent, Councillor Maheshwaran. I'm really sorry. You could bring it to next council meeting. Keeping in time, we'll move on to item 10.4. May I have a mover? Councillor Chai moves. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Maheshwaran. Does anybody want to speak about it? If not, we can put it forward as well.
In short, what it would do is an explanatory note regarding this proposal has already been published by council. In addition to that note, the conflicts of interest that were declared by councillors at various times would be next to that note. That's in some of the motion.
I put it for vote. Councillor Chai.
I think, for this motion, like what Councillor Mahaswaran stated, it stayed there as a whole, so many times. And neighbors complain about, the mice, bars everywhere. So I think this one, need to solve quickly, or stay there. I think we talk about this lease land, for at the beginning of these terms already, yeah. So and as the last council meeting we talk about, is the last council meeting? Yes. We talk about this one, but have not enough quorum. Everybody have a conflict or interest of this one. But Stratford Council is very tiny, cozy council. It could be many of this land, could be, cause of conflict of interest or something like that. So I think the council really have to solve these problems, that, to avoid, the quorum is not enough. Today I didn't put my conflict of interest on this one because I don't know about any owner or anybody in this one. But I think our council need to find a solution, to make sure have enough quorum to push this one forward. Thank you.
Now I put for vote. Everybody in favour? Carried out, unanimous. We'll go to CCS1. Page number 349. Yep. We'll wait for Councillor Hall. Councillor Hall, we are at CCS1, page 362.
362, CCS1. 349.
Can I have a mover?
Yes.
Councillor Datta, and seconded by Councillor Chai. Councillor Datta, would you like to speak on it?
Yes, I would. Madam Mayor, I think that review of the sporting ground fees and charges play a very significant role in the lives of our young kids. Particularly, I am also concerned about the people who are local children. So the amendments, the amendments that I am proposing are impacting on page 351, if you want to look at it, so that there is not much narrative, but just figures. On page 351...
Councillor Datta, have you supplied with amendments to the...
I have got it in the thing. I haven't forwarded to anyone. So I will forward it to later, but I'm just...
We'll appreciate it if you could send it before from next time.
David, please.
Sorry?
David McQuaid.
Yeah.
Have David's email. For me?
Now,
Yes, please. And then we'll put it up for you.
I can't remember.
Not you, I can do it for you, okay, I have a computer here.
Yeah.
Send where?
It's good. Michael is doing.
Huh?
Michael is sending it.
Okay.
Thank you. So what it has gone to you. What the amendment that I am proposing is.
Councillor Datta, can I get some advice and adjourn it for 5 minutes, please?
Sure.
No, I'll just talk to the meeting. I'll just talk to the floor.
Yeah, we won't adjourn it, but I would request some advice from our general manager.
So councillors, if you're going to move specific changes to the fees and charges, we'll have to give our David McQuaid, our governance officer, the opportunity to capture it word for word. Because if you're doing specific items, this is going to have to form part of the specific resolution. So I would just request that you step through that slowly for David to keep up with you. This is why we do ask for any amendments to be submitted in writing before the meeting.
Appreciate that.
So when you are ready, David, give me a signal and I will go very, very slowly at the speed of an elephant. So, page 351, the table. In some cases, this is not, in some cases the increase has been 30%, 45%, 42%. So I am proposing that wherever it is over 20%, the maximum increase would be 20%, and the rest remains the same.
Need calculators for that.
So if the increase is 2%, it remains 2%. If the increase is above 20%, such as 30% or 45% or 42% over the current rate, then it will, I am proposing that it be clocked to 20% max.
So in other words,
That's on page 351. Page 352, the same rule applies.
Page, are you referring
Page 364. No, that's all CCS2. That's CCS2. So that's all. Very simple.
that one's all right. So can I ask some questions so I understand what, correctly, because I've just made some calculations. So through the chair, can I just, so we're talking about, we're not talking about the seasonal hire because the seasonal hire is not, none of them are going up more than 20%, except for the cricket turf wicket field hire. Are you talking about the casual hire? And then are you talking about commercial hire?
We are talking about casual hire, of course, and we are talking about commercial hire. And there are, in fact, there are 4 or 5 places where it is more than 20%. So those are the places we are talking about. In one sentence, if it is less than 20%, I am proposing that be accepted. But it is over 20%, it is tuned down to the 20% max.
So, through the chair, can I just ask, the commercial hire, when you've got here the minimum, maximum fee, average fee, is the minimum, where are these taken from? Because there's no current, there's only one $210 in the current fee. So what's the minimum, maximum and average? And does that mean that there's no current 23, 24 fee? And so now there's a proposed fee. Any reason why there was never a current fee? Oh, sorry, is that too many questions in one go?
Through the chair, what I did was look at the fees and charges from surrounding councils. So that included Bayside, Burwood, Canada Bay, Canterbury, Bankstown, Ryde, Parramatta, Sydney, Cumberland, Hunters Hill, Inner West, Lane Cove, Mossman, North Sydney, Randwick, Waverley, Willoughby and Wallara. And from those councils, I found the minimum fee that they charge, which is the first column, the maximum fee and then the average.
Okay.
I can't answer why Strathfield didn't have some of those fees previously.
So were we not supplying these services before, or we were just doing it for free?
Through the chair, we were supplying it at a casual hire rate. I'm suggesting we introduce a commercial hire rate.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, through the chair, is it possible to know what the casual hire rate was? Is that anywhere that we can see that?
Through the chair, yes, that's shown in the table on page 351. It's that column marked Strathfield current, 23, 24.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, so you're, all right, I see what you're saying. So you're just, okay.
Okay, David?
Councillor Chai, do you accept the changes?
Yeah, through the chair, I think I accept it.
So now the amendment becomes the motion, councillors. Can we all vote on the, Councillor Maheshwaran, would you like to say something?
Not at the moment. Let you finish that sentence.
Councillors, can we please vote on waiting on David to finish. Yeah.
Question in the meantime, Chair. Is there some concern that the policy doesn't provide for cancellations due to wet weather? I think it's silent on that. The submission was made during the exhibition period before it returns to council. My understanding is that we could still incorporate, if necessary, any provision around that. I'm just confirming that that's correct without requiring re-exhibition of the policy or anything of that nature.
I believe the sporting ground allocation policy does specifically state that we won't refund for poor weather. So that's a policy that's already been endorsed by council.
Councillor Tata, you can see your recommended motion on the screen. Do you mind reading it and confirm that is this what you want to change, or are you happy with it? Could you read it to the other councillors as well? Councillor Datta, please.
Yes, sure. Council approve the proposed.
Councillor Datta, do you mind standing up?
Oh, sorry. Oh, my apology, Madam Mayor. My apology. I have to turn this low so that I can see. My very sincere apology, Madam Mayor. Council approved the proposed 2024-2025 fees and charges outlined in this report to be placed on public exhibition as part of the public exhibition of the draft 2024-25 operational plan and budget and other associated documents which are also considered as part of this council meeting agenda subject to amendments in point 2 and 3. Point 2, that council hire fees and charges be increased to a maximum of 20% increase of current fees and charges across Grassfield. That's I have to check. Across Grassfield, synthetic cricket, synthetic, not Grassfield. I would take the Grassfield out of it. Not the Grassfield, because Grassfield is lower than 20%. So I would leave it where it is. But 3 others are correct, yes. And number 3, that the commercial hire fees and charges be increased to a maximum of 20% increase of current fees and charges. Commercial hire fees, not all of them, only commercial hire fees. The rest for synthetic field hire be increased to a maximum of 20%. And the rest remain as proposed. Commercial hire fees is increased to a maximum of 20%. The rest remain as proposed.
And
That's all.
General Manager would like to have a question.
Through you, Madam Chair, could I just get a point of clarification, Councillor Data? Under the casual hire, you decided to remove the Grassfield hire. So the report's proposing for it to go from $47 to $70, which is actually a 49% increase. So are you proposing that remains, or should that be included?
I must thank the General Manager for being so meticulous, and I must be having a bad day. So it is, please include Grassfield. That's right. Thank you.
I have that same questions, but mine goes a little bit further, because what you haven't included, you've got in the commercial hire, you've got synthetic field hire. So does that mean you're not going to, we haven't got synthetic field, cricket turf, synthetic wicket, hardcore, floodlights.
They have only increased by $4, $5. That's why I left them. Because their increase is less than 20%.
The $40,
increase instead of $36.50, so $4.50 is less than 20%.
Councillors, Councillor Chai, are you happy with the amendments? Councillors, can we vote on it? Thank you. Unanimous, carried forward. CCS 2, 362.
May I move it, Madam Mayor?
I'm going to move it. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Chai.
That's okay.
Councillors, I would like to move an alternative motion for this. And it's been in page number 365. Okay. Have you seen the... Yes, Councillor Chai.
Yeah, through the chair, I got a question. I also, because this motion is also, come from the last month's meeting.
Yeah.
So, at the time asking the question, I want to know what's the booking ratio for these, the community halls or whatever the council properties.
What do you mean by ratio? Could you be a little bit more?
I mean the bookings,
How many bookings we get per month?
Yes, yeah, or whatever, a week or something.
We don't have an accurate data on it. Yeah, at the moment.
I think in last council meeting, because I couldn't get the booking ratio, so we couldn't make a decision about these matters. That's why we moved the workshop.
Councillor, policy need to go to a public exhibition for 1 month.
I understand this
We
one.
won't be able to make it till we don't pass it today.
I understand this one, through the chair, that I also, think about it to make an amendment for these, for the whole higher fees.
Councillor Chai, I have proposed for an alternative resolution, which is in page 365. Did you had a read through it? It's coming on the screen as well.
In the chart in the last few lines.
On
Yeah.
page 365.
Alternative resolution. It's in the screen, Councillor Chai, if you would like to see your screen.
I got a page here.
Okay.
So she's putting up that motion, and I'm about to make an amendment to that motion. If the resolution. So we have to vote on that motion. If that motion loses, then we can do another one. If that one wins, then we can't do one.
So, Councillor Chai, do you accept the alternative motion?
So, a few seconds.
Do you, because you're the seconder, do you accept that, or you don't have to? You can put your own up if you like. You don't have to accept it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think I'll keep my point.
So you want to put up another one?
Do you accept or do you don't accept? You don't accept? That's good. We'll go back to the original motion.
Can I say, Madam Mayor?
Councillor Datta, yes.
Madam Mayor, what the alternative resolution is saying, if we accept the alternative resolution, the charges for meeting room less than 10 people, as stated on page 364, will increase by 100%. Small venue, less than 20 people, will increase by 100%. Medium venue, 20 to 80 people, will increase by, I'm just doing maths in my head, probably about 90, 91, 92%. Large venue, more than 80 people, will increase by approximately, I'm doing maths in my head, about 120%. So I think as a representative of the community, I think that I cannot justify that. Also, going to the alternative resolution, Council endorses the proposed 2024-2025 fees and charges outlined in the report for any groups who are not current regular venue hirers. That means this 100% or over increase will impact non-regular hirers immediately. The second point is saying Council endorses a transition period for the proposed 2024-25 fees and charges outlined in the report to be introduced over a 5-year period. I think the increase of 100% or to 120% is very, very significant. As a community representative, if somebody asked me on the street that why the council increased it, I cannot see that I can justify it. Particularly, we have gone through a significant increase of rates in the recent past. I cannot see I can justify it. So I would not be supporting it. I would put an alternative motion when the time comes. If this alternative motion goes down, my proposal will be again for all the rates. If it is over 20%, it will be tuned to 20%. If it is less than 20%, it remains the same. That would be my alternative, my motion, my amendment proposal for this particular item as well. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Just a point of order. So, just to clarify, there is no alternate motion. It's the original motion. So, if you want to amend the original motion, we can amend the original motion.
Correct. That's what I am proposing now. The amendment.
Through the chair, Councillor Datta. I want you to speak through the chair.
Thank you. Okay. I'm proposing an amendment to the motion. The amendment is for on page 364, higher fee comparison on weekends and weekdays.
Councillor Datta, have you sent your amendments to the minutes?
It has gone, all gone.
Thank you.
The amendments are the same thing, very simple, is the increase would be maximum 20% of the current average. If the proposed is less than 20%, then it stays the same. So if it is less than 20%, it stays the same. Where it is more than 20%, it would be dialed down to 20%. Very simple.
That's an increment of 100% over 5 years. There you go.
20% every year. That's the. Okay.
Councillor Datta, could you read your motion? Are you happy with the motion on the screen? And if you're happy, could you read it for the other councillors? Councillors?
Madam Mayor has asked me to stand up and read it to you. So, if you can pay attention, please.
Talking to my partner.
Council approved the proposed 2024-25 fees and charges outlined in this report to be placed on public exhibition as part of the public exhibition of the draft 2024-2025 operational plan and budget and other associated documents which are also considered as part of this council meeting agenda, subject to points 2 and 3. Point 2, the venue hire fees and charges for weekdays be increased to a maximum of 20% of current fees and charges. I would like to add, if it is lower, it remains if lower fees apply, it remains the lower. It doesn't have to be 20% across the board, only where it is more than over 20%. That the venue hire fees and charges for weekends be increased to a maximum of 20% of the current fees and charges, 20%. Council advises the regular community facilities hirers when the fees and charges are on public exhibition and advise that they have the opportunity to make a submission. So let me read it again. Council advises the regular community facilities hirers that when the fees and charges are on public exhibition, I'd put it that before when, and advise that they have the opportunity to make a submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Datta. Councillor Chai.
Through the chair, for personally, at the beginning of this motion, my question is, I keep asking what's the ratio of the booking rate. The reason I ask this question is because if the booking rate ratio is lower, then there's no reason to increase the fees, right? I keep asking question, but I have no answer for this one. The second thing is, the council, have like libraries, park, many things is free of use. But for the halls, we're supposed in the lower marginal fees for our resident to use. If the booking ratio higher, then maybe we can increase a bit of fees, But if not, we should encourage our resident to use our halls, right? Secondly, at this time, when the cost of living is like the interest rate higher or something, that is already burdening for the families, that council, revenue for this person is minimal, is because of it's unaffordable for those residents, because compared to the sport field, many of them may be booking by those organizations. But for the halls, this one majority by casual bookings. Personally, I like to change a little bit amendment of large ones. Maybe we can keep the rate, for 2024 to 25 at the same level as like in the 2023 and 24.
I would accept it.
Because you're the seconder and you nominated.
What have you just done?
Do we vote on it? Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, can I just clarify? So, Councillor Chai, you would like to make a further amendment to the motion that's on the floor, so that it would keep the draft 24-25 fees for community facilities at the same level for 23-24. To do that, Madam Chair, you would also need the mover of that to accept that amendment.
So if I accept it, so it will be a different amendment, nothing to do with Councillor Datta's amendment. So I will go to a different one.
I just try to clarify through the chair. Let's try to make amendment to large amendments.
Councillor Chai, if I understand it right, Councillor Datta is accepting to have a increase of 20% starting now, and whereas you are nominating something totally different, you want to keep the prices same till 2025. So there are two different amendments. You contradict each other. So we will, whom do we go for, Raj's or for? First?
If I can say this, this is different and this is not different, depending on how we see it. Both are, the way I see it, it is not different. The reason it is not different is, my proposal is to keep it down for the residents because I cannot justify keeping it down. But considering the amendment to my proposal, that Councillor Chai has brought forward, it seems to be even more justifiable from the cost of point of view. So it is not really, in my mind, it is not really different. And I am as a councillor, is happy to accept Councillor Chai's proposal, and if that is acceptable, I would accept that.
Councillor Datta, it's not the same, it's totally a different amendment. You have asked for different numbers, whereas he has asked no change at all. So we will go, do you want to withdraw your amendment?
I would withdraw my amendment.
We'll go with Councillor Chai's amendment. So even I have to accept it as a mover. I do accept it. Can we all vote for it, councillors? No change for CC.
No change. Vote for no change.
Can we actually see it on the thing just to wait?
Is keep the same as like a 2023.
Current average. Current average. Look at the current average column. Roughly current average.
The motion is not typed up yet. Let's just type it up first, and then we can.
All carried forward, unanimous. Thank you.
Now let's write it down. Yeah.
Okay, well, Councillor Chai, once it's written, can you check your screen and approve it?
Surprised by the council's unanimous position. We keep going for another 5 minutes and the rates are going to go down.
I feel like forget that one. So there goes the 5-year plan down the.
Councillor Chai?
Maybe just read it out.
If you're happy, could you please read your motion?
Lovely.
If you're happy, could you please read the motion to the other councillors, please?
Through the chair, okay, I'll read the motion. Council approve retaining the 2023 and 2024 fees and charges for the draft 2024 and 2025 fees and charges, and they be placed on public exhibition as part of the public exhibition of the draft 2024 to 25 operation plan and the budget, and the other associated documents, which are also considered as part of this council meeting agenda. The second is council advises the regular community facilities hires that when the fees and charges are on public exhibition, and advise that they have the opportunity to make a submission. Thank you.
Very happy. Councillors, any more discussions? Councillors, can we vote on it, please? Carried forward, unanimous. CCS 3. moved by Councillor Datta, seconded by Councillor Chai. Would you like to speak?
No, I do not really want to speak. I just have a question, queries. Query through the chair is that from the Capital Works program, we have a budget of about $27 million compared to a total budget for the council yearly budget of about $66 million. My question is through the chair is, for this capital budget delivery program, how the council plan to measure the performance of these programs against respective defined budget and delivery timeline and report it to the council? That's my question.
Would you like
Through you, Madam Chair. As we have done every other year, there's quarterly reviews which are reported to the council. They also include reports on the capital program, which report back on the budget and the progress of each of the projects. In addition to that, the Director of Engineering and Operations also provides a separate report to the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee on the progress of all major capital projects, as well as the probity and governance plan around some of the larger projects, particularly those related to the West Invest project.
So I'm just clarifying my understanding through the chair, that we will see a budget for each program, and we will see the performance of delivery on each program, how efficiently they have been delivered against a defined budget and the defined time, predefined budget and predefined time frame against each of those. That's my understanding from this meeting. Thank you.
Councillors, any other discussion?
Question. I'm just wondering whether the delivery plan has any, is there anything in there about promotion of our community facilities? Just so that they're might be a little bit more used than they currently are, especially with the fantastic rates that we have, they're so low. So I think maybe promoting it might be a great idea. So if we could consider something like that when it comes back from exhibition or blah, blah, blah. Yep. Take on notice.
Through you, Madam Chair, I don't believe that there's a specific action in the document for that. I think it's a fantastic idea, given the fees that we are charging and we continue to charge. So I would suggest that we will make that amendment for the documents as they exhibited.
Do we put the motion for the voting? All in favour? Carried forward, unanimous. CCS 6, 577, 577.
Again, Madam Mayor.
Are you moving it, Councillor? I'll second it. Councillor Datta, you may take it.
Thank you. This is very good. I just have two queries. One is, as I was going through it, I didn't see any date against private certification planning and development. So the meeting date is there, but report to be presented to a future council meeting. And I would like to see a date when it will be presented. There was no date on it.
Which one?
Private certification plan, the third row from the bottom. Page 579, third row from the bottom. And the same thing against 1, 2, 3, fourth row from the top. Homebush and Homebush West Town Center review of center to be presented to a future council meeting. There is no date against it. And this same thing on the second row from the bottom on page 580.
Thank you, Councillor Datta. Can I seek some advice from the gentleman?
Through you, Madam Chair. So each of those are in the program for the relevant sections. Given the volume of work, we're unable to put a date on it at this meeting, but it's something that we can come back to you with.
Maybe by the next meeting.
Impossible.
Okay. No?
We can come back with the date, but we won't be able to come back with the items.
No, date. Just when.
Come back with the date by the next report.
That's right. It's all about the date.
Any other discussion, councillors? We'll put it for voting. All in favour? Carried forward, unanimous. CCS 7, page 584.
Going down.
Moved by Councillor Datta, seconded by Councillor Chai. Councillor Datta, you have pulled it out. Do you want to speak?
Yes, please. Recreation and Wellness Strategy, Strathfield, LGA. I think the recommendation is saying it is recommended that council recognize and support the need for a community consultation in the context of a recreation and wellness strategy prior to any future consideration for the development of a potential health and recreation center. That funding for the preparation of a recreation and wellness strategy be considered as a part of the project. I am proposing that this second part, the funding, that it be justified, it be supported by needs analysis and a capital investment program, capital investment strategy. So if we are proposing, I am proposing that if we recommend that it goes ahead, then it should be backed by a capital investment analysis and a benefit analysis, not just in quality terms that we want to do it because it looks good, feel good. That's my third proposal. I'm putting an amendment here that any proposal be supported by a capital investment analysis and benefits analysis.
Isn't that jumping ahead?
Can I get some advice from the General Manager on it?
Through you, Madam Chair, again, sorry for annoying you all night. I just want to clarify, are you suggesting the funding for the strategy be supported by a needs analysis, or are you suggesting that the strategy include a needs analysis and an investment plan? Because I think it needs to come alongside the strategy, not the funding for the strategy to be undertaken. Can I'm just trying to seek clarification so that we can certainly implement what you're asking for, Councillor Datta.
Thank you. I think any capital investment, it goes without saying, any capital investment, there should be a global plan that any investment would go with a capital investment analysis, cost benefit analysis, and there are other analyses. So I assume that umbrella thing is there. But I would suggest that if it is not, that it be included that all capital investment analysis, there should be an umbrella word saying all capital investment should be backed up by economic analysis, environmental analysis, budget analysis, safety analysis. That's the capital, all, and there should be a strategy. If it is not, I recommend that is done.
That's a great motion for the future.
And the second is, for any budget that is prepared, if endorsed, then the budget should be supported by a detailed capital investment analysis and a benefits analysis. So at strategy level, there should be a strategy saying that all our capital investment should be under ESEB, all those four I say. And the second is for a particular program, because programs comes in various shapes and things, there should be a capital investment analysis, and there are various methods of doing that, and then it should be a benefits analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Just to further clarify through you, Madam Chair, so should point 2 be amended to move the needs analysis up into point 1 is the point of clarification that I'm trying to get. Because I'm struggling with how the funding for the strategy relates to the capital investment, because it's not a capital investment at this point.
May I assist? May I assist?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, so what we need to clarify is this motion here is only about community consultation. That's it.
No.
So, yes, that's the motion. Read your motion.
Yeah.
It's, okay, there is no decision yet to even go ahead, because the community consultation may say we don't need it. I already know we don't need it. We've been down this track before, so that's it, but I'll get into that. You'll have to give me another couple of minutes for that. So this motion is only about the community consultation, which is the issue. So we're looking at spending $300,000 to $500,000 on consultants. Love consultants. We should all be consultants. $300,000 to $500,000 for community consultation. That's it. This is not to build.
$300,000 for
next page. Page number 586.
Which page is that?
586.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm going to have a field day with this one.
300 to
no offense, anybody. So page 586 is...
It's for delivering the thing.
No, it's for consultation.
May I?
Sure, but I'm only just gotten started.
Thank you. Just to clarify.
Point of order, you can have a point of order.
It's not point of order, it's just if I
Same thing.
just to clarify, the original motion was to fund or to look at scoping the wellness centre itself. Council's come back and said, you can't just identify this single piece of improvement and say this is the critical piece of improvement for recreational infrastructure. Yeah. Rather, we will have a broader strategy about all the kind of infrastructure around wellness in the local government area, or recreation and wellness. And half of that potentially is funded through the 7-Eleven contributions. So part 1 essentially says we will endorse creating such a strategy. Part 2 says we will look to the 2024-25 budget to fund it. Now, if that needs analysis, I would imagine would be what this strategy actually is, that it is the needs analysis itself. But if we want to make it abundantly clear that if council's going to go ahead and do that sort of analysis, they must do X, Y, and Z, it ought to be integrated into the first part of the motion. Now, if you'd like to have a needs analysis on whether or not we need to do this study at all before the 2024-25 budget, then it should stay where it is. Beyond that, I'd say that this is for the 24-25 budget. So at that time, you may decide not to fund the strategy. And the costings in here are not likely to be the costings at the time the budget is actually prepared. So I'll just say that by way of general commentary, I think it's a useful recommendation from council, and it's something that as they're doing the town centre plans and as they're doing the plans for the Homebush area, as well as the broader area, they could identify a whole number of things that may be funded through grants, through VPA funding, through all sorts of funding sources, and it's not just the recreational centre, it's almost not central to this, but I would imagine that you would consider whether a health and recreation centre is required. And it may say, if it agrees with your position, the position of many councillors and many people in the community, that's not required, then that's likely what the strategy is going to be, undertaking councillor Dada's need analysis and capital investment, analysis and things of that nature.
That's a complete.
No, but go ahead.
So I'm not opposed to actually what, through the chair, I'm not opposed to what Councillor Maris Warren is actually saying. I do concur, which makes it a completely different recommendation. So we need a completely different recommendation because yes, if we have some kind of needs analysis, do we need something like that? If we incorporate that, a needs analysis, overall, within with the strategy for the Homebush strategy that they, for the planning, for the Strathfield Town Centre strategy, if we somehow say, okay, within those strategies, if we sort of drill down, do we need a recreational and wellness do we need a health and recreation centre? Then I'm not opposed to that, if it's inbuilt. But to have a completely separate one, so if we can come up with something that basically says, well, okay, let's do some kind of community consultation and some kind of needs analysis, but incorporate it into the other strategies that we're also incorporating, or the other things that we incorporate. That's what I'm assuming, that's what Councillor Maris Warren is saying. I'm assuming that's what he's saying. And if that's what he's saying, then I totally agree with that. But that means a complete rewrite of the recommendation.
I would like to get...
Through you, Madam Chair, that is exactly what the recommendation is inferring. If you wanted clarity, I would suggest that you could probably drop out on point 1, after the comma where it starts with prior. And you could maybe pick up Councillor Dada's words around needs analysis and capital investment strategy and say that it's the wellness strategy, which would be inclusive of for the LGA.
So can we put in there that, because I don't like just this context of recreation wellness, can we somehow...
Councillor Hall, do you mind reading it on your screen? They have amended it.
Smile.
$500,000. After we've just reduced it, after we've just kept our rates really, really low, our facility rates really low. Money's coming out of it, falling out of the tree.
Madam Mayor, I think I'll go with it. With the previous motion, my worry was this. If we went to the community and said, all of you, the council is going to give you a Rolls Royce, do you want it? If there will be nobody who will say no. Do we want wellness, swimming pool, all of them? Yes, we do. But there is a cost to it. If we do that, there will be... So if we say, put a motion like the motion was before to the community, I bet everybody will say yes. But without knowing what the cost would be. So it would be misleading to my point of view. So every recommendation that I put, we should let the people know that there is a cost associated with it. Are you prepared to pay for it? And if they say yes, then only do it. So I would agree with the amendment that our GM has put forward, and I accept that. Because that gives the community a full picture, so they know if they like, there is a cost for it. If there is a rate increase, if there is a special levy, they will know we are supposed to pay it because we agreed to this. At this point in time, I agree with it. But before, it was leading the community through a garden path, which I didn't agree with. Thank you.
Councillor Chai, do you agree with the amendments of Councillor Dada?
not sure if you make amendment of this motion, whether we still need the second point of the funding preparation or not.
So I have a question. So
It's mandatory.
we say that the funding for the preparation be considered as part of the 24-25 budget. We just passed the budget. So for me, I need to know which part of the budget did we put it in, if we haven't passed the motion yet.
Through you, Madam Chair, so we did explain this at the council workshop.
Yeah, didn't quite click.
It was there. There was 300,000 that is included in the draft budget, and the resolution that you have passed on the budget does allow for any amendments that you make on business that's on the paper that relate to the budget. So if you do change this, it will adjust what you've resolved for the budget. So there's 300,000 included in the materials and contracts line item for the draft 24-25 budget.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Hall?
It does. I'm just
Councillor Chai.
$300,000 to residents. Oh, we just spent $300,000 on it.
Councillor Hall. Councillor Chai, do you agree with the amendments? Councillors, can we put it for voting? Everybody in favour? Councillor Datta, Councillor Maheshwaran, Councillor Chai, Councillor Reddy, and all in
against.
And Councillor Hall.
Against the Councillor Hall.
After 7 years, I can't change my mind now.
Councillor, probably the last item, EO1, page 669.
Page 669. If I can move it, Madam Mayor.
Yeah. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Maheshwaran.
Madam Mayor, I am proposing a very small amendment on page 672. The table at the top. Page 672. David, please give me a signal when you are ready. The GM has told me very strongly that I need to take you along with me. Madam Mayor, I'm proposing that for category 1, community discount up to 50% fee waiver for non-profits from outside Strathfield. So I'm proposing a fee waiver up to, adding the word up to 50% fee waiver for not-for-profit from outside Strathfield. And category 2, up to 90% fee waiver for not-for-profit based in Strathfield. talking to Councillor Chai, he didn't have a conflict of interest.
Councillor Datta, there will be lots of conflicts coming up if you leave it as up to, rather than that, the council officers suggest that it should be 90%, not up to 90%.
Right.
Because it makes it more clear.
Okay. Okay, that makes it easier. The officers here, and
For the category 1 as well?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. The reason I say this because working with these various small community organizations who mostly are using our halls, and our halls are not big halls, small places, and I know they struggle to have whatever they do in our library or in small community centers like the Tamil Senior Citizens in Homebush West or some other organizations around here. They will be in severe problem if we increased it that way. So I recommend that to all of you that we support my amendment so that our community organizations who have been using our facilities for their ongoing activities, they can continue to conduct all those activities, and those activities really have kept have been very much aligned with the well-being, health, well-being, community harmony of our council's themes. So I would appreciate if you all can support my amendment, please.
Would you like to speak, Councillor Hall?
Yes. So I'm just looking at the figures here at the income comparison, Strathfield, Burwood, Canada Bay and Hunters Hill. And I guess one of the things that we could, but that we probably do need to know is, and it does go to Councillor Chai's questions, what is the, and maybe you could take it on notice through the chair, what is...
Vacancy rate?
Yes, what is the number of times that our facilities are being used? So, because when we look at these numbers, they're actually pretty bad. But is that because of, do our venues used more, but our rates are so cheap so that we're not making that as much income? Or are our facilities not being used, given the, how cheap they are, and what's the reason for that? Is it because some of them maybe are old facilities, they're older facilities? We do have some of the oldest facilities, whereas, Burwood and Canada Bay have probably got newer facilities because of the number of units that they build or whatever. So I'm just wondering, I would really like to know that if it could be taken on notice for future, I don't know, for future?
Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's certainly something we could take on notice and see if we can come back to you with some information. I also think that probably the recreation and wellness strategy will also provide some information around the type of facilities that needs analysis.
Councillor Chai? Councillors, I do want you to consider when we give 90% discount, council is putting money from the pocket. When we have vacant staff, please do keep that thing in mind. The profit is going only to the community group who are hiring, but the fees is paid by every single resident in this area.
You haven't accepted the amendment yet, have you? Point of order, has the amendment been accepted?
Not yet. Councillor Maheshwaran, you have seconded. Would you like to speak?
Does he accept the amendment?
No, Councillor Maheshwaran has seconded.
No, but does he accept change?
Yes, I'll accept the change.
You accept the change?
81,000 is
Councillors, any more discussion?
If I can just wrap it up, close my argument, please, Madam Mayor. Thank you very kindly. Madam Mayor, I think there could be some small cost involved from staff point of view for certain venues, like Strathfield Town Hall. But for other venues, probably the cost will be minimal. And even if there is a cost, I think we have a very large percentage of communities, multicultural communities, who have been using these facilities for many years, and also there is a growing demand for these things. And the activities they do, whether it is in Bates Street, Homebush West, whether it is in the Strathfield Library, whether it is in other places on the weekends, those activities contribute immensely to the well-being, community well-being, and social integration and harmony of this community. And so those costs and expenses cannot be justified just by financial means. There are intangible and tangible non-financial benefits from these activities. And as a council, if we really want to represent our community, then we need to know what they are doing, how they are really affording it. Would they afford it if we increase this by 100% or so? And the answer is no. It won't increase the revenue that you earn. I know you have asked for analysis, and that's very good. I really support it. But when analysis come back, you will see it will be unused for most of these things. I am saying this today. So what I'm suggesting that if there is a financial cost to it, there are many other tangible and intangible benefits from these programs. And so I think as community representatives, we should be not only supporting these changes, but also strongly commend the council and officers and all others who will be supporting it, continue to support these activities. Because Strathfield is a different council. It has done many work, it has taken many actions which are different and pioneering compared to many other councils, and that is why people still want to come to Strathfield, live in Strathfield. Though for 10 and 20 years they need to skip one dinner every day to save $1 so that they can buy a place, a unit or a house in Strathfield. And we need to understand that and support it. So thank you for your anticipated support for this reduction.
Councillors, any more discussions?
No, you go first.
No, up to you. Okay. Sorry, I just was away for 1 minute, so I may miss something, so I come back and read the things, and listen to what the Council Hall said, that, in 2023-24, our revenues income only 81,000 for the whole year. So even though we increased 20%, how much of 20% of 81,000? How much is that? Maybe only 20,000 of that.
16,000.
No, only 20% increase.
No, 80,000, 16,000.
Yeah, that's it. And maybe our staff spend time to do a lot of report calculation. Maybe cost more money than this already. So my question, my comment about this one is, either like, or large suggestive 90%, we are encourage our community people more to use our facilities. Meanwhile, those community halls, that is the asset of our community, not the council. So we should return the benefit to our residents and let them use their community facilities. So I'm likely to support, what Councillor Data's proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Chai. Councillor Hall.
So I propose that come October, or you councillors, get out there to those facilities that are at Canada Bay and Burwood, stand there and go, we have the cheapest rates in New South Wales, come and use our facilities.
Absolutely, I could not agree more.
Instead of these ones, because our rates are negligible.
Councillor, thank you. Councillor Maheshwaran, do you have a comment to make? Thank you. I have a comment to make. I would be voting no for the amendments of Councillor Datta, only because there are only few little, very little groups who use these facilities, whereas if at all in future, whoever uses it, it's not those groups are getting an advantage, but at the same time, the price is paid by every single resident in this. If it's $1, if it's a cent, I don't care, but everybody else is paying, whether they use it or not. I think it's unfair. That's why I'll be voting no to the amendments of Councillor Datta. Can we put the amendment motion for vote, councillors?
We could put up an alternative.
That's the amendment, that the motion is on vote. So the motion, that is the amended motion, is on vote.
Yep. Can we put the motion for the vote, councillors?
For this
All in favour, Councillor Datta, Councillor Maheshwaran, Councillor Chai and Councillor Hall. All against is Councillor Reddy.
I'll be waiting for you guys standing out though.
Declare carried.
Madam Chair, can I say something?
Not now, Councillor Datta. It's already 10 p.m.
It will take 30
We have taken more than enough time. Are there any matters of urgency?
It's 9 o'clock. Don't scare us.
Not 9. It is 9 o'clock, not even 9.
It's okay. Are there any matters of urgency, councillors?
There is one.
Councillor, can you please tell your matters of urgency in 1 or 2 sentences only?
Yes. First sentence, I think it is the point, first sentence, that what Councillor Hall proposed is a very important point, that we should advertise our services if we are providing better services.
Thank you, Councillor
I
Datta.
have 2 sentences. You said 2, I said the one. Second sentence is that I asked the council to prepare some brochures to this effect, and I personally, and I would request other councillors to hand deliver that to various areas.
Thank you, Councillor Datta.
You're putting up your urgent motion.
I don't consider this, whatever you have said is urgent, and
I've already put it in before.
Councillor Maheshwaran.
Can I just query, we have a confidential agenda item, which I understood, EO2, which I understood wasn't moved by exception. Am I incorrect in saying those? I put a procedural motion to recommit that particular item.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. We put EO2 under exception, but not the confidential matters. They're 2 different matters.
That's the same.
Councillors, do I have a seconder? For Councillor Maheshwaran.
We don't need to recommend it because it moved by exemption. Oh, right, okay. We're looking at recommending it. Okay, fine.
Moved by Councillor Maheshwaran, seconded by Councillor Hall. Would you like to speak on it?
No.
No, they're confidential now.
Oh, sorry.
So,
We go in closed session.
go to page 16.
Confidential matter only to be completed if item is not completed by exception. I'll read this. Yeah. In accordance with section 10A2B1 of the Local Government Act 1990, 1993. The matter will be considered in closed session as it relates to commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. The report contains tender information from tenders. May I now have a mover and a seconder to go into closed session with the press? Can I have a mover and a seconder?
Councillor Chai is the mover.
Councillor Chai is the mover. Councillor Hall is the seconder. We'll go into closed session.
Is this one confidential?
on it, whether we go on
Yeah, vote on going into open session.
Unanimous.
unanimous. Carry forward.
Sorry to keep you.
Just need to read it out.
I'm now required to read the motion adopted by council while in closed session. The council, in accordance with section 178(1) and 3A of the Local Government General Regulation, New South Wales 2021, declined to accept any of the tenders. In accordance with section 178(1) and 3E of the Local Government General Regulation, New South Wales 2021, council delegates for the general manager to enter into negotiation with Hillpad Limited, Private Limited for the reduction scope tender as outlined in the report. Note that its reasons for declining to invite fresh tender submissions or applications is that there is merit in the submissions from Hillpad Private Limited with a view to reduce the scope of the original tender. I now call for a mover and seconder. No, I don't.
Because you did that in closed session.
Okay, so I just announced the meeting.
Yeah, you closed the meeting.
Conclusion of the meeting. There being no further business, I declare that the meeting closes, the time being 9:17.